emotional about is it does, as a woman, feel pretty shitty. I feel like the humanity of women and their rights, no one cares. And even in the face of Trump and everything that he represented, that's a tough pill.
State that I think Democrats definitely were reaching for. There was a lot of work to try to turn out the college campuses, which were really thick and really packed.
Some red states that attempted to ban abortion or severely restrict abortion, but the people in those states voted in favor of ballot initiatives to legalize abortion, to reverse the negative impact of the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So saying that people are voting against their best interests kind of doesn't make sense when it comes to the reproductive rights issue, because what was Kamala Harris supposed to do? She was going, like, let's say she got elected. She would have come into office.
I know that these videos are supposed to have some type of hook or something like that to get started, but like I said before, there's going to be a lot of videos about this topic of the Democratic Party and why it is that the Democratic Party is finished going forward. Now, it's so much content, it's so much material, so much as far as media meltdowns that I have no choice. I have absolutely no choice but to break all these down into smaller, separate videos. So today, we're going to be talking about the women. So yes, ladies, I know I'm probably going to say some things that are going to upset you. However, I'm also going to be saying a lot of things that, quite frankly, are probably going to make you happy too. So make sure you guys stick around. Now, before we really and truly dive into this, before we really and truly get to the meat of this, I want you guys to look at this clip, but not just listen so much to what is being said here, but pay very, very close attention to Anna Kasparian's body language.
Hope going on. I'm going to keep it real. And the fact of the matter is, Kamala Harris chose to try to convince disaffected Republicans, all three of them, to vote for her by campaigning with a neocon, campaigning with Liz Cheney, a deeply unpopular politician who was voted out of her congressional seat because even the Republican Party has changed in regard to their views on neoconservatism. You know, the big cover-up in regard to Biden's mental health, that was a giant mistake by the Democratic Party, and they're suffering consequences for that. We have to be real about this, guys. We just do. And you know, magical thinking isn't going to help the Democratic Party. They're not going to win with magical thinking. They have to come to terms with the mistakes that they've made, and it shouldn't be a close election, but it is. And It's not looking good for Kamala Harris.
So now, just a heads up. You're going to be thinking about that clip once again. You're going to be thinking about her body language over the course of this video as you guys see these reactions. So like I said, make sure you guys stick around fully. And yes, I do understand that this is a channel that's like 95% male watch. But still, at the same time, though, I want you guys to pay attention as well. Because I've said this on multiple occasions, that going with the abortion angle this cycle was going to ultimately destroy the Democrats. It's really funny because it's almost like somebody is trying to tell them you live by the sword, but you also die by the sword, because it was actually the Clinton administration, or what Bill Clinton was running on, that basically brought abortion up and made it an actual serious mainstream issue. The old adage was safe, legal, and rare, meaning safe, done in a legal manner, and not done very often, because obviously we do need to produce more and more babies going forward. But the biggest reason why I'm bringing this up is because consistently, the issue of abortion was polled at like the number 4 or 5 issue in the race, meaning that it, quite frankly, wasn't really important. But about that, let's go ahead and get to it. Before we do, make sure you guys cut the notifications on. Make sure you guys also not only cut the notifications on, but make sure you guys also hit the like button as well, so that way the video will go up the algorithm. You can follow me on Facebook. Here is the page. And you can also follow me on X, Twitter. Here's the page that you guys are probably seeing. And now let us go ahead and get to it. So let me play this first clip, which, by the way, was from The View. It was of course, Joy Behar, once again, 2 women, one named Joy, one named Whoopi. You could also throw a third one in there named Sunny. Names that denote some form of happiness, but yet these women are very, very angry. Let's roll this.
System works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made. But I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises that we need to protest, which I'm sure it will. And I've been through this before with Nixon. It's been very difficult. But boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
Yeah.
That right there actually sounds somewhat conciliatory for Joy. But see, number one, when you're angry all the time, it tends to push people away. I mean, even Steve Kerr, who made a joke about the election, a guy who, by the way, does not like Donald Trump, basically said, I do want to see him succeed because some people realize that we need to come together. Now, I wanted to get that part out of the way before I play to you guys the rest of the segment where Sonny Hostin basically went off.
It was pretty red last night.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was America makes a perilous choice. I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have.
A lot said by I almost call her Ho, but Sonny Hostin. There was a lot said by her, but there is more to get to. So we'll be coming back to Sonny here soon. And then there is also this little gem right here from Joyless Reed, another person named Joy who's full of hate, who decided that she wanted to go off on the fact that white women had a chance to go against the patriarchy or stick it to the patriarchy. But of course, once again, these people missed the mark. Let's roll this part.
The state that I think Democrats definitely were reaching for, there was a lot of work to try to turn out the college campuses, which were really thick and really packed, and try to turn out the suburbs. And I think there was a lot of hope because of just the insanity, can we say fairly, of the person who's running for governor in that state, and a thought that, you know, defeating him would also carry Harris in. But in the end, you know, if they didn't make their numbers and essentially exceed the numbers that Joe Biden had in the suburbs, and I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. That is what it appears happened.
There was a lot more hate and vitriol spewed at the audience. By the way, I did do a video that came out at 12 o'clock, and there will be a third video coming out a little bit later on this evening. I decided to go ahead and make a third one for the day, but that video that I released earlier talked about MSDNC. It talked about social media. And it also talked a little bit about how it is that Comcast is trying to get rid of MSDNC. Pretty soon, people like Joy Reid are going to find themselves without a job. Joy Behars, like in her 80s, pretty soon she's going to find herself off the air, and someone like Sonny Hostin is just going to be viewed as a good old-fashioned loon. Now, you're probably thinking to yourselves, well, these old white women, they watch this content, and they believe everything these women say, and that right there is actually true. However, the next generation of women, on the other hand, are not exactly buying it. One of the tweets, or one of the tweets that I saw earlier, I had to confirm this, and it was actually Joy Reid herself, coincidentally, who was forced to say it out loud, was that one of the metrics that Donald Trump improved with was not only with Gen Xers, but also millennials and young people. I wonder why that right there may be the case. Well, these people are obviously living in the reality that is the Biden economy, which is absolutely horrible. And as I have said before, and I'll say again over the course of this video, women buy eggs and milk too. They actually buy eggs and milk more than anybody else. I'll explain that a little bit further after this next part. But I did say earlier that we were going to be coming back to Anna Kasparian. Well, let's go ahead and do that.
Look, later on that episode of The View, Hostin and Alyssa Farah Griffin got into an argument over Hostin blaming white women specifically for voting against their own interests. So let's take a look at that.
Why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
We have to look at the demographics.
I had to stop that midway, and the reason why I had to stop it midway is because Alyssa Farah Griffin was actually correct. Something about that phrase, uneducated. You're uneducated. You're just uneducated. Uneducated people vote for Trump at a very, very high clip. You're so uneducated. The scourge of the uneducated. Do you guys think that maybe the phrase uneducated just sounds a little bit, I don't know, hateful? Now, I understand that there is an educated class in this country. For example, the surgeon who cleaned out my right carotid artery and left carotid artery, which basically saved my life, saved me from getting having a stroke. Obviously, he had to be educated. Obviously, he had to go to medical school. Obviously, he had to do all that. Obviously, we are people in this country that, quite frankly, obviously do need to be educated. But the uneducated class that they're going after the people who work all the service jobs, the people who cut your hair, the people who also at the same time do pretty much all the services that you need. And a lot of these people who work these positions are actually women. A lot of them are white women. By the way, Donald Trump did not just get, and by the way, we're going off the exit polls, so we don't have the full information yet, but I can promise you right now that his white women total is much, much higher than 52%. Did you think that maybe there's a reason why it is that anywhere between 7 to 15% of black women may have voted for Donald Trump this time? Did you think maybe there's a reason why it is that 37 to possibly over 40% of Hispanic women voted for Donald Trump this time? It's probably because they got families, they're married, and guess what? They got to pay for milk, eggs, and products, so they go to the grocery store at least once or twice a week. Did you think that maybe that right there might be the real reason why it is that these women said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go vote for Donald Trump even though I don't damn it like him? I'm also at the same time getting tired of being told that because I'm white, I am the scourge of humanity. I'm also getting tired of being told that while it is that I do not have a college degree, which, by the way, is roughly 2/3 of the country, I'm getting tired of being told that I am the scourge of humanity. But back to what we were watching.
Also, I think it's worth noting that, there are some red states that attempted to ban abortion or severely restrict abortion, but the people in those states voted in favor of ballot initiatives to legalize abortion, to reverse the negative impact of the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So saying that people are voting against their best interests kind of doesn't make sense when it comes to the reproductive rights issue, because what was Kamala Harris supposed to do?
Oh, jumping Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. Anna seems to have figured out, wait, that's why I've been doing a lot of videos recently showing you guys and telling you guys that Anna has been figuring it out. But let's continue. I mean, if you keep telling people that you hate them at some point in time, they're probably going to eventually say, okay, the mask is off. We now believe you. I mean, you showed who the hell you are. I guess maybe we're done with you. Maybe we don't want to have anything to do with you. I mean, look, I want you guys to keep that in mind over the course of this video, because you're going to hear me say this. Women have extremely long memories. And they also not only have long memories, but they also have very, very detailed memories. I mean, I used to wonder how it is that my grandmother, who claimed that she couldn't hear, she had a hearing aid in, but yet she could see the smallest of things and point it out. It's just a talent that they have. Very, very odd. Still, though, at the same time, though, it's not the end of the video, so let's get back to it.
She was going, let's say she got elected. She would have come into office with a Senate controlled by Republicans. And I don't know, has it already been determined? Have Democrats lost the House?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Okay, so basically a Republican-controlled Congress. How the hell was she supposed to pass or codify reproductive rights on a national level? It wasn't gonna happen, and it wouldn't have happened if Democrats had control of the House or even a slim majority in the Senate. It just wasn't going to happen. She's not going to steamroll the Senate filibuster, which requires 60 votes in order to pass legislation. It wasn't going to happen. So, I think what Alyssa Farah Griffin said there, and I never thought I would say this, but she's right. She's right. And I also think there's an issue with the way, liberals feel free to just demonize white people in general, right? It turns people off. And if they're constantly told over and over again that they're the enemy, they're everything that's wrong with this country, every bad thing that's happened here is because of, the white European settlers and the white people who are here. If one party is telling them they're the bad guys and they're not wanted and they're the root of every problem in the country, do you think that part of the electorate's gonna vote for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys obviously heard all that. You guys obviously heard what Anna had to say, and we all know that she's on the left. We all know that she's been trying to leave the left. She's announced that she left the left, but of course there's still some left leanings with her. You guys obviously heard that. And by the way, Jink had a little bit there that we're going to be getting back to a little bit later on this week, because the content is just going to be flowing throughout the entire week and weekend. But we're going to be talking about Jink Unger's humiliation ritual, which is a special video that I have planned. But the thing is this right here. What Anna is saying is not a lie. If you keep demonizing a certain part of the country, which happens to be the largest part of the country, after a while, it will, in fact, bite back. It will, in fact, hit back. It will, in fact, kick you back. It will, in fact, keep its mouth shut, go into the voter booth, and vote for what it is that's welcoming. When you basically tell them that you are not welcome into our club, you are not welcome into our gang, that we absolutely hate you, we despise you, you're basically telling that person that, yeah, we don't want you anywhere near. We think very, very low of you. We don't think of you at all. That's pretty much what the hell is going on here. I did say I would be coming back to Sunny Hostin. Now, let me go ahead and go to Sunny Hostin. You see, Sunny Hostin is a former attorney. Sunny Hostin, and I'm not making fun of attorneys. By God, we all may need one at some point in time. But Sunny Hostin lives in New York City. She's lived in Los Angeles, too. Sunny Hostin is highly educated. But yet, once again, though, you see that some educated people don't have any common sense. They say very, very stupid things. Sunny Hostin is a multimillionaire. Sunny Hostin does not have to go to the grocery store. Sunny Hostin does not have to buy milk and eggs. Somebody gets milk and eggs for her. The other day, I made a video on how it was that Obama was losing his legacy to Trump. Well, part of that legacy that I did not mention, which of course will be coming up a little bit later over this week, was the type of economy that Barack Hussein Obama was trying to create. He was trying to create like a service-to-you economy where it would benefit the more, let's just say, people who have money, the people who live in suburban areas. The college-educated class, of which, by the way, is only about maybe a third. They figured that maybe we can convince the uneducated masses, the people who actually do all the work every day, the people who build the roads, build the bridges, do everything that you need in everyday life. He basically completely ignored them. And I think people have finally woken up. And it looks to me like it's the women who woke up first. By the way, I do want to say this right here because this is where I want to end at. When it comes to the topic of women, and I did say that the Democrats have lost women for good, or at least white women at this moment in time. The reason why I say that they've lost them is because women have memories like elephants. I'm a single man for a reason, okay? I love women. Obviously, I hope to get married and have a family someday, even late in life. Even if I'm decrepit and can barely walk, I would still love to have children because obviously that's a very, very important thing. But still, to go on top of that, there's one thing I have learned about women over the years. They tend to have extremely long memories, and they tend to remember every little detail of every little thing. It just seems to me that they finally remembered every little thing that was said to them and said about them from women like Sunny Hostin, Joy Behars, Joyless Reed, and the mainstream media. Of course, we're still waiting for black women and most other Hispanic women to eventually see it too. And I'm pretty sure that Hispanic women will see it. I don't know about black women yet. We'll talk about that at a later date. But I think that what's happened is that women took note of this election, and they've probably said, you know, I'm just not going to vote for another Democrat going forward. By the way, the Republican bench is a lot nicer going forward. We have Vance, who seems to be much more likable. We have DeSantis. We have a lot of other people, a lot of the men who are strong, masculine types who actually aren't the bull like Trump. So basically what happened was that women, once again, just simply did what I said they would do. They held their noses, and they went in there and voted for the Donald anyways. But they voted for the Donald knowing that they were done with the Democratic Party because the options on the right are so much better. Not to mention, also, the right has also got something called common sense, which is something that women have to be around all day or constantly complain about people not having. I just figured I'd point that out before I close the video. So, yeah, once again, Anna was right. But you guys tell me what you think in the comments section. Make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments. I'll see you guys later.